Hello, this is Pastor Jared Olson, and today we're going to do a new book review. This one is Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace, and here is my copy. Me and my wife bought this book and to read it and to help us give us a better idea about finances. It's something we've always were struggled with, and we didn't do the best thing. And they don't. Most of your parents struggle with how to do finances. In school, they don't teach you about finances unless that is your degree. And so this book, Financial Peace by Dave Ramsey, is a good, solid place to start. Now, you don't have to agree with everything he has to say, but he does have wisdom to share. And so I would recommend Dave Ramsey's book, Financial Peace. Now, let's give you an idea. This is Dave Ramsey. This is him and his wife. This is actually an older picture. As you can see, the book cover that I have to the right is more like what he looks like now. The picture on the left is one of the old pictures of him, probably from the original edition of this book. This is actually a revised edition. And he has an interesting story. Now let me read the book cover here. Oh, one too far. Uh, an updated, expanded revision of Ramsey's first book about overcoming debt and managing personal finances. This edition boasts new chapters on the relationship between money matters and family matters. When it comes to resolving money problems, Ramsey knows when he speaks. He had made the loss a real estate fortune by age 30. His straightforward guide to financial tranquility covers the basics of career, savings, and investment and spending. The new chapters offer financial advices from single spouses, parents agreeing on money matters. Ramsey says it leads to fabulous unity in the marriage. Commentary from Ramsey's wife Sharon concludes each chapter, and I enjoyed reading this. It is nice to have section there because there are some people who are. I like that he has some for singles, spouses, even young people who are just getting started. It will give you the basis to help building financial stability to your life, and you say, well, what does this have to do with Christianity? What does this have to do about? We are called to be good stewards of what God has given us, and there's ways we can use our money to be good stewards of what God's given us. It isn't to necessarily become rich, but our goal is to be good stewards of our money so that we can give to others. And it's one of the important things about in his book. He says, yes, make money, and you do this so you can give to others. And so you can send your kids to good schools. So you can. One of the biggest things is, especially a lot of people, is a lot of times parents don't take the time to invest and get a good egg nest set aside. So when they're retired, they're not relying on Social Security. No one should ever rely on Social Security. A lot of people are misled that Social Security was never meant to carry you all through your senior year of life. It was actually just a backup. It's an add-on. So you really do need to have your own money, and whatever you get from Social Security is a bonus, but you're never to rely on it. And so doing this is really to help you, your family, and even to for your church, because one of the things important is to serve your church and be able to tithe, give offerings to your church, so you can build up God's kingdom. That's the real reason why we give to churches, so we can build up God's kingdom. And in order to do that, you have to be good stewards of the money that God has given you. And so this book helps you do it. And one of the most important things is the thing that probably most controversial some people find about him is he says he doesn't believe in any credit card and any debt. And I completely understand it. In fact, the only thing he really suggests getting debt for is buy a house. Understand so. And if you could buy a house down, that's even better. But as he will always quote, whenever you hear him speak, I would encourage you to go to his YouTube site, his website, is when you are in debt, you are enslaved to the lender. In other words, you don't own what you own and you're not free to make choices. Most people who get credit cards or have multiple credit cards usually get more debt. This is not to say there isn't some people who don't know how to manage it. There are some people that I know who do have credit cards. They're very financially responsible. They know how to manage their credit, but majority of people they don't know how to do that, and so that's why he goes so strong with say, don't get in debt, because most people who start getting in debt get more in debt. They don't get less in debt. Most people don't know how to manage that, and so he's really big on this. Keep in mind, this guy has from experience. He tried to do the big thing. He tried to go into real estate. He made a lot of money, but a lot of the money he quote had was based on debt and taking money from here, move around here, and move around. And so it looks like they had money, and then he went bankrupt at age 30. And he had to rethink a lot of this. And so when he rethought, that's where the idea is from. This book and others came from was okay, what is the right way to manage money? This book does a great job. It really meets anyone can read it. In fact, even pastors should read it, and everyone should read it. Everyone can gather from it. The sooner you read a book like this, especially when you're younger, the better. Unfortunately, most people don't start looking into this until they're older and about to retire. And to be truth, if you're about to retire and you're just starting to look at books like this, you're in trouble. You should have done this years ago. Um, it's old adage is that if you're a young person, age 20, and you save $20 a week for the next 40 years of your life, you're going to retire comfortably, and you be able to be comfortable to take care of your family, give to the church. You'll be in a good financial, and like I said, it's about being a good steward of what God's given you. God's given you these things. Be a good steward of what God's given you. And it has several chapters. It has a total of 22 chapters and a few appendices. But a lot of it, a good portion is just explained about money, how does it work, how we misuse it, uh, and 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 so some of it is how we misspend our money. That most people live in a situation of debt. They actually, or they just each month they just break even with the money they brought in, the money they spent, and people are not actively saving. That we often are buying things like brand new cars when we shouldn't. So some people buy the used car, save that money. Later on, you can buy a newer car when you're in a better financial situation. You want to try to eliminate as much debt as you can. Um, and he really focused that is and one of the things he would encourage you, and let me only show the baby steps. So he takes a point to try and explain all this. He does talk about how to invest, but eventually, to sum it up, he goes to the baby steps, and there's 7 of them. And we'll just turn to it. So the first step for most people is to save $1,000 as an emergency fund. And if you would ask people, do you have an emergency fund? Most people would say no. And he would suggest you at least need $7,000. I'm sorry, $1,000 set aside in case of emergency. Car breaks down, something happens. You need to have at least $1,000 saved. Then after that, you want to pour all your money paying off as much debt as you can. Now, this is not including your house debt. This is credit card debt, your car payments, student loan debts. You just pour into paying off those debts, because the sooner you pay them off, the more money you save. The problem with a lot of people is they don't actively pay off their debt, and so then they get into trouble. So you want to proactively pay off your debt. If you can double your payment, better. If you can just pay as much as you can to it, great. But to really pull into it, then we have then after that, then you can save for 3 to 6 months. So this is the next level of saving for emergency, that you want to have enough money set aside in the bank account. So if you lose your job or you end up in the hospital, that you have money set aside for the next 3 to 6 months to pay for your bills. So this is a second level, putting money aside for that. Then once you have your debt paid off, you have a 3 to 6 months emergency statement, then you start trying to save as much as you can, 50% of your 15% of your income, and saving it, putting it aside for savings, and then also putting money aside into investment. And as he would explain, you don't want to have all your money in one basket or one bank. So he'll explain, if you read the book, it says you should have this much in savings, and then you'll say, okay, and once it reaches that amount, then have another account, maybe at a different bank. That way, if one bank fails, you still access. You want to have liquid cash flow, so you don't want all your money set aside in investments that you can't reach. But and then eventually, then you will do your 401ks or Roth IRAs or mutual funds. And those are the type of ones that he would suggest that, and then it makes sense when you read the book, he explains it. And then when you can, start saving, putting money aside for college. College is expensive for your kids, and I should say college or trade school, either one, because for some kids, trade schools are a better choice for them. And then pay off your house as much as you can. And then step 7, build wealth and give. This is where you really can start focusing on investing more. And then at that point, you're just starting to give. Give to your church, give to your local charity, give. And that's important because we don't get wealth to keep wealth. We get wealth to share it and like I said, to share, build up to God's kingdom, and that can be done in multiple ways. Those are the 7 baby steps. But this book, like I said, it's 22. Says it 22? Oh, no. 22 chapters, and he does a real good job explaining it. So, and it's not that big of a book. You could read it in about 2 weeks easily, faster if you want. It is a good book, easy to read. He has a lot of good personal stories from his experience and from his personal life, from the experience of people he's counseled money wise. And it is kind of nice. His wife always gives a little thing at the very end. And I think that's nice because men write a certain way to have her view. It's kind of nice because it just kind of gives a little bit of a woman's point of view on circumstances and insecurities and security of doing this. And so I recommend this book. My brother and sister-in-law, they went through this book. That really helped them. It's really helping me and my wife to get a good idea. And I'm not going to say everything's perfect in the book. You may not agree with some of the things in the book, but where you agree with all the things or not, it still has good advice. This is good advice that most people need to hear. And it's not magic. It's not quick fix. It's nothing. It's not a scheme. This is basic finances that you should learn from your parents or should learn if the educational system, you should learn this stuff. And so this book is very excellent. I highly recommend you getting this book, reading it, and start implementing the strategies in the book. And you will be blessed, and you will be able to bless others by put these implementations into your life. So I just want to say I highly recommend Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace, the revised edition. He also has other books. I also suggest if you can go into his YouTube channels, and he's always talking to people. Really interesting. Now I will say this: he is a straight shooter. He doesn't beat around the bush. He's not going pulling punches. He will say if someone is just doing something that is just stupid, he will say that's stupid. And there are some things people are doing that is foolish. It's just not smart thing. And he's a straight shooter. So keep that in mind as you read him. He's going to be a straight shooter, but he says the things that he does because he's trying to help people. He doesn't mean to do it to be harmful or mean. He's doing it because he wants to help people. So I highly recommend Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace Revised Edition. God bless you and have a great day. And I just want to say, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and have a great day.